You are now entering Night Storm Nation.
All I have to say is this.
Child abuse.
If you are one of those people
Divorce.
that have been put down all of your life,
Infidelity.
beat up and trapped in a pit of woe,
Depression.
it is time for you to stand up with the Night Storm Nation, because we aren't going anywhere. I'm YG Nightstorm, the man not afraid to be transparent, as I help real people with real issues. And my co-host is my queen, my stunningly gorgeous wife. Come on.
Well, we had our McDonald's coffee this morning. Hello, ATL and everyone around the world. This is Toby George Nightstorm, the woman not afraid to tell the truth as we get into this thing and tell it how it really is. Wonderful Thursday morning. You know we are you here on Nightstorm Radio.
Yeah, and if you're in the Night Storm Nation right here in the ATL, call in at 44355-8699. And to all the Night Storm Nation members around the country, call us at 1-866-923-2860. And you can also find out more about us, the Night Storms, at nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Listen to our show on the talk radio page. That's nightstorm.com.
And they can also go to Love 860 AM. And all you smartphone owners out there, don't forget, download the apps, iHeartRadio, Tunein Radio, iRadionow. Go to the talk radio section. Find Love 860 AM and find us so you can take us anywhere you go, anytime, to the bathroom, sneaking in the closet at work, whatever you need to do to make sure you hear this show.
Whatever you need to do to catch up on the Night Storms, we suggest you do it. So, baby,
what's up?
What's on tap for the day, my queen?
Oh, I like how you said that.
I know you like how I said it. That's why I keep on talking. It keeps you agreeable.
Hey, works every time.
14 years of marriage, it'll teach you a whole lot of things, I tell you.
Well, Mr. Nightstone, we're going to explore two very impactful topics today.
Right.
And, you know, they get very little coverage. You hear about it here and there just so that they can say, yeah, we know about it. Well, we don't really have in-depth coverage on solving these problems.
Right.
And one of them is human trafficking, and the other is pain management.
Right.
And we have two esteemed guests in today that are going to help us out with these issues.
Yeah. Okay, we even got a special guest in. We got our oldest boy, because y'all know me and Toby, our beautiful blended family, have raised 7 children. We have 5 adult children, and our oldest boy, Zacc, is in the building. Say what's up to Night Storm Nation.
What's up, ATL? This is Zacc. How y'all doing?
Yeah. So, all right, we got a Night Storm letter, baby.
Yes, we do. So, as I said earlier, we were doing our research, and our topic we're going to start with is human trafficking.
Right.
And we have our guest in studio today. We're going to get to that a little bit later. But let's hit this letter first. Yeah. It says, Dear Night Storms, my sister ran away from home a couple of months ago, and my family has been in turmoil. She started talking to guys that hang out in our neighborhood and then started spending more time with them, even though our mom told her they were not the type of people she should be around.
Right.
Now, the two of them argue all the time because she just wouldn't listen. We're supposed to be getting ready for her high school graduation. Instead, we don't know if she's even alive. A neighbor says she saw her a few weeks ago, but no one has been able to find her. I really miss her and just want her to come home safely so we can have a family again. I'm hoping that maybe she will hear my letter and call. Everyone loves her and misses her very much. Stacy, please come home. Your little brother.
Well, see, now that's really, really deep and touching. And since, you know, we have children.
Exactly.
And, you know, all the time, you know, and Zacc is here contest that, you know, we don't always agree all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, parents argue with the kids argue with the parents, because, you know, I didn't get along with my mom all the time, neither did you. And sometimes these situations can get so deep where a child is frustrated and say, okay, mom don't understand me, dad don't understand me, I'd rather be gone somewhere, or the household is hectic and they can feel the household is toxic and they leave. And this opens these children up to a grand array of so much harm in this world, right?
That's
baby?
right, because everything that's out there isn't as good as it looks.
Right.
Exactly.
And these people that are out here don't always have your best interest in mind. So, you know, Zacc, you're coming from the standpoint of the young people. You're 21, almost 22, getting ready to celebrate that big tutu.
Yeah, we done got on your nerves a couple of times, haven't we?
Right? I know you can understand probably the perspective of the young lady. Don't
Yeah.
want to hear mom's mouth all the time. What do you think about this letter?
I think a lot of times when people are young, they feel like they know so much and they're not really willing to listen to what everybody else has to say. And a lot of times these people are only trying to help you. And I think she needs to realize that, you know, she has a home. She has people who love her. And regardless of what her personal issues is, she making it worse.
Right.
You know, by leaving the family. Now, not only is that turmoil there between her and her family or whatever it may be, whatever the case may be, you're not helping the situation. You're only making it that much worse by leaving. You know, you come home and you speak with your family because your family loves you.
Right.
Exactly.
And a lot of times when people are young, they don't realize that. All they see is them. And you got to step out of you for a little bit.
Hold, wait a minute. Preach, brother. Some wisdom is coming out of the mouth of our baby.
Exactly.
I love it.
But, you know, one thing, this little brother, and he didn't give his name, and we wouldn't give his name even if he had.
Right.
Because this is a very personal issue. But, Stacy, wherever you are, if you hear our voice, your family misses you, they love you, please come home. You can work out whatever. And I'm sure if you've been out there for a few months, things aren't what you thought they were when you left. So you can always, you know, start with a phone call, something. Just let them know you're all right.
Well, Stacey, I hope you're listening. And NYGHTSTORM Nation, this is why we have a particular guest on who is an expert on dealing with this. So we finna get into this. And Jared, if you can cue her music, please, so I can introduce her properly, sir. Yeah! Now, NYGHTSTORM Nation, we play 5-Star Chick because she is a 5-star chick. Our first guest hails from Southern California and is a media designer, radio host, producer, and educator. She is the creator of Get This, ATL Radio, serving as executive producer and radio personality known lovingly as AC to her fans. Getting her degree from San Diego State University and also holds a master's degree in adult education from Capella University. She actively manages multiple concepts which include, get this y'all, theatrical productions. She creates brands for budding entertainment tycoons and has assembled an army of photographers, videographers, writers, everybody in the business to hook your high-profile events up and fundraising. So ladies and gentlemen of NYGHTSTORM Nation, it is my honor, privilege, and pleasure to introduce to you the one, the only Mrs. Angela Carswell. Yeah! What's up, Angela?
Thank you. What a beautiful introduction. I love y'all. It's a high energy show. I'm into it.
Exactly. We got it. Did we tell you we went to McDonald's this morning?
Hey, y'all don't be playing.
Well, ma'am, we have done a fair amount of research on you, ma'am, and you deserve to be introduced like that everywhere you go. You actually need your own theme song.
Oh, well, thank you. 5-star chick. I'm into it.
All right. So we finna get into this. Okay, now, what is Rimshot Urban Musical, and how did it come to exist? And what is this stuff all about, man, that you doing?
Oh, man. Okay, so, you asked a loaded question. Here we go. I was in this very studio as a radio show host on ATL Radio and had an opportunity to interview a human trafficking survivor named Chong Kim. And when she came in, I was kind of like, okay, well, she's a drug trafficker. I'm thinking I'm about to interview a villain, you know, a criminal of some sort. And when she told me her story and I realized that she'd actually been trafficked, that somebody forced her to sell herself at their profit, I was floored by this. I haven't been able to rest since. And Jared, our producer, remembers that moment. She literally was coerced into this. She was in kind of a dysfunctional family, ran into a guy who said he was in love with her. He had his uniform on. She thought he served in the forces. And he said, I want to escalate our relationship, and I want to bring you to Florida with me to meet my parents. When he brought her to Florida, she was drugged and woke up in captivity.
Wow.
And literally was trafficked all over the nation, from Dallas to Vegas to Atlanta and back, as literally, and she was being forced to sell herself. I said, this is ridiculous. So I got started doing research, okay, because I was literally up all night after I heard this interview. And I realized that human trafficking is a domestic problem. A lot of times people think that this is something that just happens somewhere overseas in Cambodia, and even if it did, it's still a problem.
Right.
But it happens right here in Atlanta, Georgia, by far more often than any other state, any other city in the United States. Wow. So that's the first thing people need to really understand. Our international airport, Interstate 20, the trucking industry, all of that is huge contributors. And this particular location, the metro area of Atlanta, has a lot of exotic clubs and a lot of seediness kind of goes on here. It's an entertainment culture here. And so consequently, a lot of people come, a lot of young people come. And when they get here, they're coerced into situations. You hear stories all the time about models and model calls and photographers and things of that nature.
Exactly.
They may show up. They may be encouraged to take some risque photos. And then if they don't oblige, then they may threaten to use the photos against them. There's blackmail. There's all kind of coercion. So I said, okay, wait a minute, hold on. I started talking to the people that I knew in my circle and said, hey, does anybody know that this is going on? Because I felt kind of some kind of way because I didn't know. And most people that I associate with, and we got some sense, you know, none of them knew about human trafficking or, like I said, figured it happened in Cambodia somewhere.
Right.
So.
Or it's just some false, made up, like in the movie Taken.
Right.
No, this can't possibly happen.
Exactly.
This can't happen to nobody here. Not in America. This can't happen.
Right in our backyard. Right in our backyard. So I said, okay, well, I need to do something about this. So my co-host Reggie Love and I had a conversation.
And you mean Reggie Love?
Reggie Love.
Reggie Love.
Special shout out to Reggie Love. But anyway, I said, Reggie, we got to do something. We can do a benefit concert with the resources that we have. We could do a symposium. We can do a banquet dinner. And he completely said that's not enough. It's got to be something that's ongoing.
Right.
And I said, okay. So I went to sleep a few good nights, and I woke up with it on my mind that it needed to be a theatrical production. Now, this is where I get spiritual.
Okay.
I don't even have the language of theatrical production. At that time, I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know what a real script looked like.
Okay.
So I knew it didn't come from me, right? So I said, okay, well, I'm going to have to be obedient and go with this. So I went on Yahoo, and I went on Google and YouTube and said, how do you do a script for a theatrical production? And that's how I taught myself to write the script. How about inside of 4 days it was written, the shell of the story. Wow. And I haven't looked back since.
Yeah, because when it hits you, it hits you. And as a writer myself, sometimes you don't know where the inspiration is going to come from. And especially when you know it's divinely inspired. Like, this is not my arena.
Right.
I don't know what in the world to even start or how to do it. But if you telling me to do it, Daddy, then that's what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
And then it just kind of falls in your lap.
How about that?
Ain't that something?
The words just start to flow. Yes, we can definitely understand that as both of us, right?
Yeah, because here go the queen, she corrected me again. This happens all the time at home, y'all. Dum forgets to say something, and then the queen says, now we both, sweetheart. We both, sweetheart. You better say it right.
Please.
Now,
you better say it right.
See, that's when you're being nice, because, see, y'all don't know NYGHTSTORM Nation. I got my hand wrapped up down. Okay, and all the guests, they see my hand, and Jared sees my hand wrapped up, and I tell the excuse that I got hurt lifting weights because I bench pressed 500 pounds, but it was a much, much smaller individual that decided to put me in the hemlock and knock me on down. So I'm wrapped up, so I better obey my queen.
All of Atlanta listening, you trying to get me in trouble.
Well, Zacc, see it. You see what happens. Zacc is saying, okay, anyway, getting back to Rimshot. I mean, to the trafficking, because me, NYGHTSTORM getting beat up is not part of the script today.
Angela, what is the positive arts movement? Let's get into that.
It's the entity that powers Rimshot Urban Musical. It's a nonprofit organization. It's an association of inspirational performing artists who at some point in their career decided that they didn't want to go with what mainstream said. They want to do inspirational, uplifting music. They want to create art, whether it be graphic art, visual art, performing art, recording art, even culinary art, but with a decisiveness about themselves to where they want to do this and feed into the community instead of eroding away at it.
Exactly.
Yo, We already know. I mean, I'm in the entertainment industry myself, and everything that I see is on some lewdness, violence, excessiveness, wastefulness. It's, I mean, on some, self-hate. It's the topic is just trending over and over. When I listen to mainstream radio, which is why I got in radio in the first place, because I wanted to play some stuff that was inspiring. But when I turn on the mainstream radio stations, this is all I hear is about those 5 topics.
Right.
In every song, every time. And I believe it's a systematic programming, and I'm not overly self-righteous and I'm not uptight. I'm real laid back. But at the end of the day, I'd love to be able to go somewhere with my kids and we both enjoy music that lends itself to feeding us and making us better people.
Exactly, because the one thing we don't want to do, and we always say, is don't want to feed the monster.
Right.
We don't want to contribute to what's already going on. Now, we know that will not necessarily get us rich quick. Right. But it gives the people something that they can use and take with them and build on or build from.
Exactly.
So that's the whole goal, the Night Storm Radio, or anything else that you see the Night Storms involved in.
Yeah, we want to help, just like you, man. We want to help enrich people's souls. And one thing I do like about your energy, because I know we're coming up to a break, but I want to say, Night Storm Nation, Angela Carswell is the real deal, okay? Because y'all know, when I peep somebody out, I don't just look at them as the physical. You got to see what's in the soul. And when she walked into the studio, ladies and gentlemen, that was an aura on you, ma'am. And I could definitely feel the soul building. Because like you said, in a lot of the media out there, it seems like it takes away from a person. The more they indulge in it, the more their selfness is sapped out.
Yeah.
And people feel, well, I'm fat because I don't look like those video girls.
Come on now.
Or I'm not muscly enough and I don't look like those guys.
Right.
Or I'm not rich enough. I can't afford to even have her because she wants a guy with the Bentley. And I have a regular job or I'm catching the bus.
Exactly.
It destroys so much self-image.
Yes.
And these are images that are not real.
That's
the
right.
artists don't even own that Bentley. For one.
Come on now.
Okay.
Preach now.
And that chick on the picture has been airbrushed. Okay.
Photoshop is a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is.
It's not even real. So when you talking about helping folks in the real world fight off real issues and build up their real self-image, that is something to be admired for, and we appreciate that. Am I right, my queen?
That's right, Zacc. But come on, chime on in.
Come on, son.
We got a commercial in 2 minutes. What you got for me?
Well, I mean, I hear everything she's saying about the media, and it's exactly right. And people wonder why, I know it's kind of off topic, but kind of touching on the Grammys. You had the artist Macklemore who won those 4 Grammys, and people were like, "Oh, why? I don't really like his music, everything." But if you were to go check out his music, he has songs with actual, subject matter and stuff that you can put your teeth into. It's mostly positive. He had the songs that he play on the radio that you hear about Macklemore and the thrift shop and everything like that. But he have songs like "Same Love" where he's talking about supporting gay marriage and talking about how he did the drugs and how he wanted to be the rapper lifestyle and how he had to grow out of that in order to become as successful as he became. And you got to be, as a person, whether young or old, whether rich or in poverty, you got to know when to step up and talk to these people and let them know that it's okay to be you. Because most people don't become famous or don't become popular until they become themselves and let them see them. Because you can be everybody else, but you're just going to be everybody else.
Boy, but this is my son dropping some
Hour.
Queen Boy, I tell you, I keep on getting in trouble, man. I'm going to have another broken arm over here in a minute. But Night Storm Nation, we going over to a break. You are listening to Night Storm Radio right here on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. See ya on the other side of the break. Woo! You ever been so depressed to where you want to hurt yourself because life has been unkind, unfair, and unforgivable? Folks done hurt you and thrown you away. Yeah, I know, because I was there too, until I read this book by NYGHTSTORM called All Action No Talk. This dude has been there, man. He understands us. He was homeless, abused as a child, abandoned by his dad, and even his oldest son passed away. I'm encouraged because if this dude can make it, so can I.
and so can you. So check it out at NYGHTSTORM.com, NYGHTSTORM, and know that you have the strength to change your life despite adversity, like him, like me, like you. Hey, you, guy or gal that's listening, are you enjoying the night storms? Good! If you want the 411 on me, YG Night Storm,
And me, Toby George Night Storm, a.k.a. Lady Night Storm, visit nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Check out our informative blogs, videos, and see what Night Storm Nation is doing to benefit the community. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
thanks again for listening to the Night Storms on Night Storm Radio every Thursday at 11 a.m. to noon on Love 860 a.m. Atlanta's inspirational station. We are you.
Hi everyone, it's me, Lady Night Storm, and have I got news for you. Want to know how to keep up with us and what we're doing in the community? It's easy. Just like us on Facebook at Night Storm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Night Storm Radio and become part of the Night Storm Nation mailing list at nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM. Keep up with all our promotions, contests, and latest happenings. Night Storm Radio. We are you.
You are now rocking with the Night Storms on Atlanta's inspirational station, Love 860 AM WAEC. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Night Storm Radio. If you would like to call in and be a part of this conversation that we're having up here, make sure you reach out to your phone and pick it up and dial 404-355-8699 or 866-923-2860. Angela.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What are some of the organizations that support your initiative?
Oh, the Boys and Girls Club of America has been very supportive. Perfect target for us. Because now, mind you, I'm going to jump back and hit you guys with a statistic that's going to mess with you.
Okay.
The average age, when we talk about CSEC is the commercial and sexual exploitation of children. The average age that little girls are targeted is 11 to 14.
Wow.
Come on now.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
13-year-old.
Wait a minute. Hold
That's
on.
see
Let
what
me
I'm
make sure
saying?
I heard you correctly,
Yep.
Angela. Okay, you said 11 as in 1-1.
As in 11
Like
years
sixth
old.
grade,
Sixth
11.
grade.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
the
sitting here
average
thinking,
age.
what's a grown man going to do with an 11-year-old baby?
Exactly.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Oh,
11
I
to
mean,
14.
You know, because, you know, I can't understand on a certain aspect because, you know, Night Storm Nation knows when I was 10 years old in 1985, I was raped by a camp counselor. Okay. So I know there are some people out there that prey on children.
Right.
But, you know, when you're praying to me on an 11-year-old little girl,
Yeah.
because this is deep to me.
Right.
That some predator, and they're predators.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't care what people did back in the Roman days and in the
Right.
old Bible days when they took wives at 10 and 9. As soon as the young lady hit the age of where she's starting to have her menstrual cycle, she's
Right.
considered an adult.
Yeah.
I don't care
Uh-huh.
what they used to do back in the day. It's not acceptable to me
Yeah.
to prey on a child. So you're saying from 11
To 14.
To 14, that's when this stuff really gets going.
That's the average age of human trafficking survivors. That's the average age. So
Is it because they're taking advantage of the impressionable mind of a young girl?
exactly, that's exactly right.
Wow,
because,
sweetheart.
you know, shame can really control people or prevent people from saying anything. Silence helps this epidemic along. I always say that, and that's the easiest body of people to silence is a child because they're shamed into it, and oftentimes they have to do whatever the adult says. And so if the adult said, "Don't say nothing," and okay, now, and they look at it, and it's another statistic I'm gonna hit you with right quick, and I'm gonna go back to the organization. This is starting to surpass the drug trade because, see, the drug trade is a product. Okay, so you sell a product, they consume it, then you have to go get some more to sell.
Right.
Whereas a person is a product that can be sold over and over repeatedly all day long.
Like how they breed dogs.
Right.
Isn't that
basically.
sickening?
Wow.
Yeah.
They just, run
Yeah.
the female dog to ragged to keep making puppies. So you got the same thing.
Yeah.
Happening to a little girl
Yeah, and it's not just for sexual purposes. They also use them to traffic the drugs and move the drugs, whether inside themselves or inside, personal belongings.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody's going to check a little girl.
That's
exactly.
true.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different ways that they do. But we targeted the Boys and Girls Club of America because we wanted to make sure that we reached out to that population, because the thing about the play is that we lend ourselves to be engaging to young people because that's the target market. If we did a play that made sense to us, then the young people would never see it, and they're the ones being targeted. So it's a fun play. It's actually very enlightening. It's very inspirational and uplifting. And so you'll realize when you come to see it that we use this as a way to get people going. Another group and organization that we deal with on a major basis is the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. They have an initiative called Justice for Girls that's specifically about this issue. They sent us to Washington, D.C. last year for the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. So this is serious, y'all.
Okay.
This is serious. So we deal with a few organizations.
All right, now you done talked about the wonderful organizations that are partnered with you. And obviously this is a serious thing. So, Angela, let me ask you this.
Yes.
When is your next show? And how can people get involved to support you? Because this is very, very important work.
Okay, we'll be in Cartersville, Georgia for our next show, which is April 26th. So it's coming up in a couple weeks here. It'll be at 5 p.m. and it's at an organization called Without Walls International. Special shout out to them for being our venue sponsor. They're not charging us a dime to come. We're doing this completely as a fundraiser, again, for the SCLC's Justice for Girls initiative. It's a $15 general ticket. Children 12 and under are $10, and seniors as well. You got to come out and see this play. The talent is crazy.
But I know when we did our Facebook shout out that you were going to be here today, and we put up that behind the scene glimpse, just getting to know the cast members. We were totally involved in what was going on out there. So how can people find out more about you, Angela, and about your play and all of that?
You got to visit our website, which is rimshoturbanmusical.com. You also got to like our fan page on Facebook. It's Rimshot Urban Musical. You can also follow us on Twitter at official Rimshot. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a real big tweet person, but fan page on Facebook, trust and believe, it's all out there.
So y'all need to go there.
Exactly. And to also learn more about the positive arts movement, you can visit the website. It's real easy, positiveartsmovement.com. That's arts with an S, positiveartsmovement.com. You can call me. Okay, this is AC, and my cell phone number is 678-306-3616. Choose the extension for AC, and you'll be able to talk right to me.
So so Night Storm Nation, don't be calling her for some personal things, talking about you want to take her out for a date, and you sound good on the radio and all that stuff. Call her if you interested in supporting this movement, because she done gave her number on the air, y'all.
Angela, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on Night Storm Radio, and ask that you just sit on in and enjoy the rest of the show.
We sure will.
Because we just enjoy having you here. Now, Night Storm Nation.
Yeah.
You know, all this information that you're hearing, you can find out with us on Facebook at Night Storm Radio, Twitter at Night Storm Radio, nightstorm.com, NYGHTSTORM.com. Now, you know, we joke all the time about how old we are.
Man,
we got this grown man sitting next to us. You know,
I know, right?
Everything. And
he laughing.
And you sitting here with your wrists wrapped up. You got all your aches and pains.
That's because you beat me up, baby.
Whatever.
My old age.
You know your workout habits, picking up 500 pounds, forgetting that you're not a demigod.
I ain't 25 no more,
I know, but our next guest is going to teach us how to manage some, if not all, of our pain. So, Jared, if you would be so kind to cue that music, sir, while I introduce our next guest.
Yeah. Oh, Night Storm Nation, you know what it is. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Go ahead, my queen, get it.
Our next guest is the founder of Pain Management Coach, a coaching, hypnosis, and body works. She studied and received certificates in neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, and is a Reiki master, along with receiving her coaching certification and energy leadership practitioner training at IPEC. She is a member of the American Massage Therapy Association, a member with the National Board of Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork, and is an established member of the National Guild of Hypnotists and International Coach Federation.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen of NYGHTSTORM Nation, it is my honor to introduce to you Miss Bobbi Anderson.
Yeah.
Hi, Bobbi.
Hello. Thank you so much. Your show is amazing. I'm sitting here enjoying every minute of it.
Are you glued to your seats? Are your ears wide open?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it is our pleasure to have you on. Now, let's get into it. How can we develop a conversation with our body to relieve pain? This was very interesting to me when I was reading about you.
Yeah, because I need it, because I'd have been in the gym. I'd have hurt myself, even though I say the queen beats me up. But I'd have hurt myself. I need some help, Bobbi. Help me, Bobbi.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear, and I hope I can help. A lot of the pain that I deal with the clients that I work with isn't the acute pain. It isn't the gym pain. It's the pain. It's the chronic physical and emotional pain that we carry.
That's right.
Carry baggage that we carry. A lot of chronic low back pain is directly related to emotional events. When I was listening to the guest previous, my heart was just going out to all of the emotional pain that we go through because of events that happen in our life or beliefs that we bring up with us from childhood. If somebody tells us something about ourselves, we hold it as a truth, and it might not necessarily serve us. So oftentimes when we're having pain, if it's emotional or physical, beginning to have a dialogue with your body. A lot of times people used to say, you're crazy if you talk to yourself. Mm-hmm. You're really not crazy if you talk to yourself. You really need to develop a really great relationship with yourself and hear the messages. Oftentimes when you go to reach for that package of cookies, isn't there something in the back of your mind that says, you don't need that? But oftentimes we're like, maybe I don't, but I'm going to anyway. Mm-hmm. It's like, right?
Sounds like me with Ben and Jerry's.
There you go. Product plug again. We need Ben and Jerry's needs to be a sponsor of this show. I tell you. Okay, now, Bobbi, let me ask you something, because I was talking to Angela about this, and I did, reveal, and NYGHTSTORM Nation knows about what happened to me in 1985 when I was 11 years old, and I have carried that pain of being raped and it devastated my life for so many years until I was able to finally start to work my way through it. And it not only affected me as a person, it affected my marriage, it affected me being a father. And so it was not only hurting me, it was hurting my family. So I want you to explain the easiest way to begin the process of relieving this chronic physical and emotional pain that a lot of folks can carry for decades, ma'am.
Yes, and the truth of the matter is the processes that I use with my clients are very easy, and letting go of something is easy. It's simple, I should say, but it's not necessarily easy because of the conversations that we have. One of the very first things that when I start to work with a client and we gently begin to approach the raw truths of what really is the seed of the pain that they're holding on to. One of the most important things is to understand that we're not damaged goods. I heard a speaker once talk about the damaged food aisle. I don't know if you guys remember, and I don't think they have them anymore, but they used to have like canned goods in an aisle that was called damaged foods, and it was marked down. So you'd go there and you'd buy your can of corn or can of peaches, and the label was ripped or the can was dented, and so you got it for a lower price. So it was valued less because it had a mark on the outside. But if you were to go buy a devalued can of peach in the damaged good aisle, and then go buy a can of peach from the regular aisle for full price, when you got those cans home and opened it up, would the contents be any different?
No.
No.
Not at all.
And so that's what happens. That's what our mind does to us when we have external things damage us. And it's not that it's not real. It's not that the pain isn't real and that we don't deserve to process through it because we have to. That's part of being a human being. But the fact that I try to make with my clients is that inside what the universe, God made in us, is still perfect. So oftentimes, I'll ask somebody I work with, when's the last time that you looked in the mirror and really saw the person that's inside that body that you're looking at? Or do you look in the mirror and say, need a haircut, wow, need to lose some weight?
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, so let me ask you this, because my son has a quick question, and I know we're coming up against a heartbreak. So, Zacc, you had something that you wanted to ask her, didn't you,
I actually do have something I want to ask you, Bobbi. How can your self-talk influence the pain that people experience just every day? You kind of touched on it a little bit, from looking in the mirror and saying things about, your outer appearance, or just, any kind of physical pain, like meaning literally or mentally or whatever it may be. How can your self-talk influence these people?
How can their self-talk? Because we need to begin to embrace and encourage. If you had a child in your life that was experiencing maybe, learning to walk. Let's look at it that way. They're learning to walk, and they stand up and they lean against and they teeter and they fall.
Right.
You say, "Wow, what did you do that for? Can't you stand up?" Right? It's like, no, we go, "Yay, you stood up.
Exactly.
Awesome. Now you're going to do it again." But when I'm talking about self-talk, it's like, how many times do you hear no in your head? How many times do you begin to feel a pain or an emotional charge coming on you, and you're like, no, I'm not going to go there.
Right.
No, I'm not going to feel that pain. If somebody, please don't anybody ask me how I feel, because you're embarrassed to admit that maybe you still have that low back pain.
Right.
Right? So it's and I apologize if I'm not answering your question. But
no, you're doing a great job.
Okay, awesome. So it's like reaching down below the pain, reaching down below the emotional charge,
right,
to start almost, watching your life, and this is getting kind of ahead of things, but kind of watching your life as you would watch a movie.
Right.
And look at it more objectively, because we get so, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be emotionally involved in our own pain, but we get so sucked into it,
exactly,
and then sucked into the conversations that we're having inside of our head, that we find it impossible to be objective. So my goal with my clients is to teach them to be objective and start to listen to what the messages of that pain are.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of studies out there about, a pain in your neck means are you not allowing yourself to get the full view?
Right.
Are you right? And so low back pain is oftentimes related emotionally to issues with abundance or money or worry, and it's not that you don't. It's not because of lack.
Right.
I always want to be very insistent. It's not if somebody says, "Oh, I got a low backache," it's like, "Oh, he's broke."
Right.
No, that's not it at all.
I would hope. Right. I would hope sincerely that don't mean that sometimes, because then that'll mean a whole lot of people are broke because of their back pain. And I know we coming up against a heartbreak. It's, to me, what it's sounding like here. Just like they talk about in psychology, where you have triggers, okay? And there may be trigger words to initiate certain emotions that go with what had happened to you in your past. So sometimes these pains can be triggers.
Right.
So, NYGHTSTORM Nation, we are going to take a quick little break. Right. And we're going to get real deep into this pain stuff. And we got Angela still in here, because we're going to get some feedback from her, because a lot of the stuff that her young folks have been dealing with and the story she's trying to tell is a whole lot of pain that can be triggered from events. So that's how we tie stuff in on NYGHTSTORM Radio. But this NYGHTSTORM Radio, live on Love 860 AM, WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station.
We bring you these topics because
we are you, and we're going to see you on the other side of the break. You just keep on correcting me, my queen.
To all event planners, Are you worried that your next corporate get-together is going to be boring?
Then invite the Night Storms to speak at your next event and electrify your organization as we break down how to grow your business, fix broken relationships, and conquer life challenges.
So make your next event epic. Invite me and the Queen to rock the house with inspirational techniques designed to empower individuals and maximize their true potential.
And thanks for listening to Night Storm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational station.
We are you.
This is Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, and I'm known as the woman not afraid to tell the truth about how things really are. And the truth I have to say to you is you should listen to Nightstorm Radio every Thursday from 11 till noon. And you should also like us on Facebook at Nightstorm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Nightstorm Radio. And join the Nightstorm Nation mailing list on nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Nightstorm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. We are you.
This is YG Nightstorm. And why should you listen to Nightstorm Radio? Because we relate to you or someone you know with topics taken directly from our lives. Every time you tune in, you'll hear a discussion about real subjects that affect real life. Why? Because me and the Queen have been there. So join us right here every Thursday morning from 11 to noon on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. Nightstorm Radio. We are you.
Hello, Nightstorm Nation. This is Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, and I have a question for you. How much are you spending each day on lunch? $6, $7, $10 even? Do you know that for less than what you spend each week on lunch, you can advertise your business or service right here doing the show on Nightstorm Radio? Why don't you inbox us on Facebook, send us a message on Twitter, or drop us a line at nightstorm.com. Let us show you how you can get your business or service out in front of the people. Now back to the show.
We are back on Nightstorm Radio, and we are having an intriguing conversation. Now, we still have Angela Carswell in studio. Hey.
Hey.
Okay, and Bobbi, I want to ask you this because Angela was talking about some very, very deep things about young ladies being involved in sex trafficking. And, you know, Zacc really, really laid in on this, and the Queen as well. But we all know with that kind of stuff going on in someone's life, that can have some serious emotional pain attached. So, and a question I have for you, Bobbi, is that, you know, can pain be a habit, especially because habits are formed where something is done over and over and over, and it is deeply ingrained in you, and you could be doing this out of some other issue that done happened to you. So, as far as folks dealing with some serious emotional baggage, can pain be a habit, and can we break that habit?
Well, it's my true belief from the bottom of my heart that any habit can be changed.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? We have to have the will and the desire to do it. And you know, when we reflect or compare it to the story that we heard before, you know, that's some really, really intense, deep emotional pain. And I would imagine that there is a huge physical component that's attached with that also, because who even wants to imagine what these young women have been put through, or you know, have had to agree to? So that's just like it like overwhelms me to even think about some of the pain that people of this earth have to endure. So. Is it a habit? Yes, but it's something that's really taught, right? Because I can only imagine that they would almost have to check out to exist. I think that oftentimes, at least in my experience with people, it's like giving up. It's almost like giving up some of the pain, because some of it is so residual and old that honestly, we're not physically feeling it, but emotionally we can't let it go. For all good reasons. I'm not trying to make light of any of the pain, but sometimes it gets to the point where you just have to face reality that if your circumstance or your emotional state is going to change, you don't necessarily need to forgive or forget, but give it up. And by giving it up, I mean give it back to the universe. Say, you know what, this is just something right now that whatever prompted this behavior, whatever happened to make it the thing to happen to me, I'm going to give it back. Official offering. It's like I'm giving it back. I'm giving this energy back to be used in a different way because it's loading me down. It's caused enough pain. Whatever, and I do have this belief, and sometimes it's hard to decipher what the lesson is. But when we are in our most vulnerable, painful, uncomfortable space, that's where we learn the most. That's where our most valuable lessons and teachings come from. It's so hard to imagine that there's a benefit of being that low and that physically and emotionally abused. But if we live in faith and are able to give that energy back, there are so many valuable lessons. My story is an emotionally painful one. It does not even compare to what these girls are and what we've listened to, but I can promise that in my most vulnerable state, when I had the scares physically and emotionally that I did, it was at that point in my life that now I can look back and say that breaking point is what made me the woman that I am today.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Excellent.
And earlier you made the point of a toddler learning to walk and how they teeter and totter. I know with our youngest, she was starting to walk, and as soon as she fell on her face and bust her lip, she was done with walking for a good 2 weeks. She was having no parts of it. She wasn't trying to hold the table. All it took was that pain. And we had to keep encouraging her to get past that trauma of falling and hurting herself, that she can continue to do that, because we weren't going to carry her around, forever. So is there any truth in the positive thinking of relieving pain?
Absolutely, and the analogy that you just used is beautiful, and I'll probably steal it.
All right, I need my check now.
But it's so true, because oftentimes, if we fall into a place where we stumble and maybe a presentation or a client session or something doesn't go as well as we anticipated, or the technique that we try to use doesn't work, it's like, okay, done. I'm not going to do that again.
Right.
Well, that was just one individual situation where maybe it was interpreted wrong, or the words weren't absorbed in the right way, or that might not be a good analogy. But when we're feeling pain and we try something new, like try a meditation or try something that's like, well, that didn't work. How sad is it that we don't allow things, to process and to keep open-minded, but because of what we hear. Like, just say, for example, you said, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and somebody that you respect says, well, that's not going to work. How successful do you think that's really going to be? After somebody that you respect and has been maybe even an authority figure in your life says, well, that's not going to work. Well, guess what? It's got a pretty large percentage chance of not working.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
And so it's like living in the very present moment and allowing yourself to be open and like that child who maybe sometimes needs a little encouragement because of some pain, but how quickly did she forget it? With a little encouragement and a little, I know you can do that, we did it. So how often do we do that for ourselves?
Man, that's some good stuff. stuff, Bobby.
Exactly.
That's the good stuff. Zacc got another question. He keep jumping in here. He done pushed his mama aside.
I know, right?
Because he wants his
my
time.
chair.
Like mama say, I take up time. Mama, you taking up too much time from this boy. I'm telling on you. I got to divert the attention off of me. Go ahead, Zacc.
Well, Bobby, you made some very strong points, and I definitely felt what you were saying. You definitely hit on some very, very strong points, and a lot of people are definitely hearing you. And I feel like more people should hear what you have to say and hear what you're saying to the people. So do you have a book or a website that the NYGHTSTORM Nation listeners can find out more about you and what you do and how you help people?
Thank you. Yes. My website, actually on my website is a book that I co-authored, which is it's got a lot of valuable, really fun, easy reading stuff. And my website is painmanagementcoach.com. So it's really simple, painmanagementcoach.com.
Right.
And all of my contact information is on the website. And I also have a Facebook page, Pain Management Coach. And so, yes, I would love to hear from anybody. But my work is awesome. I'm very passionate about getting folks unstuck and ready to release some of that emotional and physical pain.
Wow. Now, you know something, NYGHTSTORM Nation.
It's about that time, NYGHTSTORM.
Now, Bobbi Anderson, let me make sure I say this correctly, has broken down eloquently. And she has shown some love to NYGHTSTORM Radio.
Yes, she has.
Okay, and Angela Carswell is still gracing us with her presence. She has shown some love to NYGHTSTORM Radio. And this time it's called the Love Shout-Outs. Well, we show some love to the NYGHTSTORM Nation. And the NYGHTSTORM Nation shows love to each other. So what we got right here, sweetheart?
Well, first, since we have our beautiful son Zacc in joining us.
My boy
you
is
did
up
such
in
a
here.
great job today coming in and helping us co-host. Who you want to send some love out to, baby?
I already know.
Yeah, you better tell that girl.
Shout out to my baby Dominique. How you doing? I told you to listen. I don't know if you listen, but you know I love you, girl.
There you go.
Girl.
All right, and since Zacc sent his love to Dominique, that was so good. I hope she listening, because you know your man talking about you on the air, girl. You better be listening. Roger also wants to say how proud he is of his baby girl Samantha, who has graduated at the top of her senior class, and he appreciates all of her hard work. You go, girl.
All right, Jared. It's Jared.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Well, my shout-outs are the same as they always are going to be. My love is always going to go out to my lady, my wonderful lady who keeps me straight and keeps me comfortable and packs me my little lunch that I've been eating the same thing for the past... Since, I've been doing Angela's show back a couple of years ago. She is the most wonderful person in the world to me. And she and I just went through a very trying situation, not between each other, but just life throws curveballs at you. But we got through it.
Right.
And she and I were holding each other last night saying, you know what, we got through that.
Oh.
So,
amen.
I couldn't have done it without her, and she couldn't have done it without me. So we are a tag team against this world we call life.
Oh,
amen. Okay, Angela, do you got some love you want to send to anybody, man?
I do. I'm going to do it real fast, too. Okay, I got to shout out my husband, Derek Carswell, my twin boys, Derek and Devin, Reggie Love, Kason, Sir Ryan. I got to give it up to Knox and Ronette, my creative team, and cast and crew for Rimshot Urban Musical. Whoop, whoop.
All right. Hey. Okay, and Bobbi, now, you've heard all this. You got any love you want to send out to anybody, man?
Absolutely. I would like to send out some really big love to my husband, who's so patient and shared with me the other day that he wants to stop being analyzed. So I need to know how to do that. And I do love him.
Okay, now, I would be remiss because I got Angela here as a witness. I got Bobbi here as a witness. Jared is a witness. And also our station manager, Greg, is looking. He's a witness. And our son is a witness. So for all these folks looking at me right now, I want to send a very special shout out to my queen, my soulmate, my better half, who has been riding this ship for 14 years with me, ride or die, good or bad, rain, sleet, or Storm?
I'm better than the post office.
Yes, you are, baby. And that's why she is my queen. She deals with me on good days, and then she breaks my hand on bad days. But I love my baby. Yes.
And I want to send my love out to my king. Because I could not be a queen without a king. We must have this empire together. Night Storm Radio, Night Storm Nation, any other Night Storm endeavors we got going on out here.
You better preach, sister.
And as this beautiful music is played, as he wrote and produced and laid these tracks down.
My goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
The jack of all trades.
Oh my
the husband, the father, the disciplinarian, the encourager, the provider. There we go. YG. Amen.
Amen. Okay. So we done had a whole lot of love in here. So hot just like the air conditioner, not even on. Okay, but we want to spend a special thank you to Bobbi for being on our show. We want to thank you, ma'am. And also Miss Angela Carswell. Thank you so much for being a guest on our show. So Night Storm Nation, we want to thank you also for listening to Night Storm Radio and supporting the show. Now, next week, our topic will be self-defense for women. Now, this is important, okay, because we all know there's some dum-dums out here on the street that like to mess with y'all. Okay, now the queen got a 300-pound bodyguard, which is me. But y'all don't always have your honey bunny with you.
What? You said
I said my nickname on the air. Oh my God.
You told me don't you ever say that on the radio.
I done said it, but I done said it. The cat's out the bag. Oh well. But y'all don't always have your honey bunny or your sweetie with you. So we're gonna talk about some self-defense. So anything else you want to add, my queen, before I send us out?
Just know that you can send your letters to us at the Night Storms at nightstorm.com. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Night Storm Radio on Facebook. Check out our website, nightstorm.com. And until next week, Thursday, 11 a.m., right here on Love 860 a.m., we want you to have a great week.
Yes.
Be inspired, be encouraged, and know we'll be here for you next week on Atlanta's Inspirational Talk Radio Station. Why?
Because we are you. God bless you, Night Storm Nation. Have a good week.